I'm Lyle Langlois. I spend the winters in Phoenix, Arizona, and the summers in Manitou. We've been doing this for 17 years. I've been doing this 17 years.
Well, I have too.
Yeah.
Only 1 year less than that. That I've done this.
The story that we usually tell is that we were both on bicycles in a mountainous region of Arizona. And we chatted briefly. I probably bragged a little too much. And she hung up her bicycle and started running. Now, you rarely see a gray-haired woman do what is called a brick in the triathlon. But she was 66 years old at the time, training for a triathlon. And I was impressed. I was 72. We were both widowed. I left my email under her windshield wiper and said I was a widower, and if she wanted to bike or run, train, or go on outings, to contact me. She emailed me. Her friend said, "You should have checked him out better than that. He could have been an axe murderer." But we went on outings. We went Sunday or Saturday night mass. We rode our bikes a variety of places. We ran a couple races together. And then she was retiring, and she'd never traveled overseas. I had traveled a great deal. And she said, "Would you want to hike the Milford Trek in New Zealand with me?" And I said, "Great, great. It'll probably take a year to get reservations, but that's been on my list. It rains are 300 inches a year and so on." And believe it or not, she went home and called New Zealand, and we were on our way in 6 weeks. On my way over, I showed her my 25 retirement goals. And some of them were really weird. One of them was to backpack 300 miles because I was slowly walking from Mexico to Canada in sections. And we discussed some activities, and she said, "We're even going to go up that little mountain in Manitou. Where's that at?" And I said, "Oh, that's in Colorado." And as we discussed things, she said, "How are we going to do all these activities in this present condition?" I said, "Well, or you could do this or that." Or I said, "There is one other option." And she said, "Yes." And I said, "We could get married." And she said, "What did you say? You'll take door?"
Door number 3.
She said, "I'll take door number 3. And so we're walking through Queenstown, New Zealand. I see a Catholic church. It's 100 years old. I said, "You know, the Catholics have been one a long time. They got 1,000 rules, but I'm going to ask them to marry us." So I knocked on the door, and this young 35-year-old priest came to the door, and I said, "Hi, Father, any chance of marrying us?" And he looked and said, "You didn't just meet on a cruise, did you?" And I said, "No." So he said, "Come in, I have a little sheet I have to fill out." At first I thought he said cheat instead of sheet. I almost said, "Well, I'm willing to cheat a little," but didn't do that. So he took us inside, and he asked us how long we'd known each other, how long we'd been widowed, if we had the name and address of where we were baptized Catholic, and how long our spouses had been deceased, right?
Right.
And we answered these things, and then when we got to the address, he wanted my zip code, and I said, "I left western Kansas in 1950 to go fight the Korean War. Zip codes weren't invented." And so he took her church in Vermont. She was baptized in Vermont Catholic. I was baptized in western Kansas. And he said, "You know, I have to call Amy down at the courthouse because we need a marriage certificate for me to marry you." So he gets on the phone and he said, "I've got these 2 old Yanks. Could you type up a wedding certificate today for them?" And she said, "Yeah, send them down to the courthouse." So we walked down to the courthouse. I gave her $15 or something, and she gave me the paper. And went back, and he said, "Now, there's a couple here from Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'll bet they'll be your witnesses. I'll just ring them up." And he called these total strangers, and he said, "Be here at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, I'll marry you." So we arrived in our running sweats and our running shoes, and he married us. The couple from Santa Fe, they had a little reception for us in their condo. They had a little cake and so on. We'd never met them before in our life. And we were told later we found the finest priest in all of New Zealand. He was the son of a sheep farmer. Since that time, we've done a lot of races together. Probably close to 100. We've done 5Ks, we've done 10Ks, we've done half marathons, and we have done marathons. Kay ran the Boston Marathon and qualified when she was 72 years old. She needed under 5 hours. She ran a 4:57 in Newport, Oregon. She was one of 14 women in all of America to qualify for Boston. Recently, in January of this year, we ran a 5K together in Scottsdale, Arizona, and she beat me by 2 seconds. We did a triathlon in Mexico. I beat her by 19 seconds, but the chain came off of her bicycle. Can you think of anything else?
In Mexico, down at the far end of Mexico, I ran the race.
Oh, well, she ran the half marathon in Mexico City at night, and she also ran the Comrades race in South Africa. We are very fortunate to still be up and around. I was born in 1930. She was born in 1936. Thank you.
How long have you been married?
We've been married 171 months. We celebrate the 8th of every month.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing with us today. We appreciate it.